Hi, my name is Camille, and this is week 21, day 4 of the Tanakh series. Adonai, we come before you with open hearts, seeking to understand your word in Jeremiah 35 to 36. Your prophet Jeremiah speaks of the faithful Rechabites and the scroll that was burnt, a symbol of your enduring word. May we, like the Rechabites, be obedient to your commands, and may your word be written on our hearts. We praise you for your steadfast love and faithfulness. Amen.
Jeremiah chapter 34. This word came to Yirmiyahu from Adonai when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, his whole army, all his vassal kingdoms, and all the peoples that fought against Jerusalem and all its cities. Adonai, the God of Israel, says to go and speak to Zidkiyahu, king of Yehuda. Tell him that Adonai says, I am going to hand this city over to the king of Babel, and he will burn it to the ground. You will not escape, but will surely be captured and handed over to him. Your eyes will see the eyes of the king of Babel. He will speak with you face to face, and you will go to Babel. Nevertheless, Zidkiyahu, king of Yehuda, heard the word of Adonai. Adonai says this about you: you will not be put to the sword, but will die peacefully. And just as they burned spices for your ancestors, the early kings who preceded you, so they will burn spices for you and mourn you, O Master. For I have spoken the word, says Adonai. Yirmiyahu the prophet said all these words to Zidkiyahu, king of Yehuda, in Jerusalem, at the time when the king of Babel's army was fighting against Jerusalem and against all the cities of Yehuda that were left, that is, against Lachish and Adzekah, since only these remained of the fortified cities of Yehuda. This word came to Yirmiyahu from Adonai after King Zidkiyahu had made a covenant with all the people in Jerusalem to emancipate them. Everyone who had a male or female slave who was Hebrew was to let him go free. None was to keep as his slave a fellow Jew. All the leaders and all the people listened who had entered into the covenant, wherein everyone was to free his male and female slaves and not keep them in bondage any longer. They listened and they let them go. But afterwards they changed their minds. They made the male and female slaves whom they had freed return, and they brought them back into subjection as slaves. Therefore, this word of Adonai came to Yirmiyahu from Adonai. Here is what Adonai, the God of Israel, says: When I brought your ancestors out of the land of Egypt, where they lived as slaves, I made this covenant with them. At the end of 7 years, every one of you is to set free his brother Hebrew, who has been sold to you and has served you 6 years. You are to let him go free from you. But your ancestors did not listen to me or pay any attention. Now you repented. You did what is right from my viewpoint when each of you proclaimed freedom to his fellow, and you made a covenant before me in the house bearing my name. But then you changed your minds. You profaned my name when each of you took back his male and female slaves, whom you had set free to live as they wished, and brought them back into subjection as your slaves. Therefore, here is what Adonai says: You did not heed me and proclaim freedom, each to his brother and each to his neighbor. So now I proclaim for you a freedom, says Adonai, for sword, plague, and famine. I'll make you an object of horror to all the kingdoms on earth. As for the men who violated my covenant by not living up to the conditions of the covenant which they made in my presence, when they cut the calf in two and passed between its parts, the leaders of Judah, the leaders of Jerusalem, the officials, the Kohanim, and all the people of the land who passed between the parts of the calf, I will hand them over to their enemies and hand them over to those who seek their lives, and their corpses will become food for birds in the air and wild animals. Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, and his officials, I will hand over to their enemies, to those who seek their lives, and to the army of the king of Babel, which has withdrawn. I will give the order, says Adonai, and cause them to return to this city. They will attack it, capture it, and burn it to the ground, and I will make the cities of Judah desolate and uninhabited.
In Jeremiah 35, this word came to Yerimahu from Adonai during the time of Jehoiakim the son of Yoshiahu, king of Judah. Go to the Rekhavim, speak to them, bring them to one of the rooms in the house of Adonai, and give them some wine to drink. So I took Yahazaniah, the son of Yirmeyahu, the son of Havatziah, and his brothers, all his sons, and all the Rekhavim, and took them into the house of Adonai to the room of the sons of Hanan, the son of Yigdal-Yahu, a man of God. It was by the room of the officials, which was above the room of Mahasiah, the son of Shallum, the gatekeeper. There I set in front of the members of the clan of the Rekhavim pitchers full of wine and cups, and said to them, Drink some wine. But they said, We will not drink any wine, because Yonadav, the son of Rekav, our ancestor, gave us this order. You are not to drink wine, neither you nor your descendants forever. Also, you are not to build houses, sow seed, or plant or own vineyards. Rather, you are always to live in tents, so that you may live a long time in the land in which you are not citizens. We have heeded the words of Yonadav, the son of Rekav, our ancestor, in all that he instructed us to do, not to drink wine as long as we live, we, our wives, our sons, and our daughters, not to build houses for ourselves to live in, and not to have vineyards, fields, or seed. We have lived in tents, and we have heeded Yonadav, our ancestor, and done everything he ordered us to do. But when Envuhadrezzar, king of Babel, came up to attack the land, we said, Come, let's go up to Jerusalem, because we were afraid of the army of Kasdim and the army of Aram. Hence, we are living in Jerusalem. Then the word of Adonai came to Yirmiyahu. Adonai, Tizavot, the God of Israel, says to go to the men of Yehuda and the inhabitants of Jerusalem and say, Won't you ever learn to listen to my words, says Adonai. The words of Yonadav, the son of Rekav, which he ordered his offspring not to drink wine, are obeyed. So to this day they don't drink any, because they heed their ancestors' order. But I have spoken to you, spoken frequently, and you have not listened to me. I have also sent you all my servants, the prophets, sent them frequently with the message. Every one of you should turn back now from his evil way, improve your actions, and not follow other gods in order to serve them. Then you will live in the land I gave you and your ancestor. But you have not paid attention or listened to me, because the descendants of Yonadav, the son of Rekav, have obeyed the order of their ancestor, which he ordered them, but his people has not listened to me. Therefore, here is what Adonai Elohim, he, Tezvahot, the God of Israel, says, I will inflict on Yehuda and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the disaster I have decreed against them, because I have spoken to them, but they have not listened, and I have called out to them, but they have not answered. Then to the clan of Rekhavim, Yirmiyahu said, Here's what Adonai Tizvahot, the God of Israel, says. Because you have heeded the order of Yonadav, Your ancestor observed all his commands and done what he ordered you to do. Therefore Adonai Tizvahat, the God of Israel, says this: Yonadav, the son of Rekav, will never lack a descendant to stand before me. Jeremiah 36. In the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Yoshiyahu, king of Judah, the word came to Yirmiyahu from Adonai. Take a scroll and write on it all the words I have spoken to you against Israel, Judah, and all the other nations. From the day I started speaking to you, back in the time of Yoshiyahu, until today. Perhaps the house of Judah will listen to all the disaster I intend to bring on them and turn back, each person from his evil way. Then I will forgive their wickedness and sin. So Yirmiyahu summoned Baruch, the son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote down on the scroll at Yirmiyahu's dictation all the words that Adonai had said to him. Then Yirmiyahu gave this order to Baruch: I am not allowed to enter the house of Adonai. Therefore you take the scroll which you wrote at my dictation, go into the house of Adonai on a fast day, and read from it the words of Adonai in the hearing of the people. Also read them to all Judah as they exit their cities. Perhaps they will turn to Adonai in prayer and will return each one from his evil way. For the anger and fury which Adonai has decreed against his people is great. Baruch, the son of Neriah, obeyed everything Yirmiyahu the prophet ordered him to do, reading the words of Adonai from the scroll in Adonai's house. A fast was proclaimed in the 9th month of the 5th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Yoshiyahu, king of Judah, for all the people in Jerusalem and all the people who came from the cities of Judah to Jerusalem. It was then that Baruch read from the scroll the words Yirmiyahu in the house of Adonai in the chamber of Gemariyahu, the son of Shaphan, the secretary, in the upper courtyard at the entry to the new gate of Adonai's house, for all the people to hear. When Micaiah, the son of Gemariyahu, the son of Shaphan, had heard from the scroll all the words of Adonai, he went down to the king's palace into the secretary's room. All of the officials were there: Elishama the secretary, Dilahu the son of Shemayahu, Elnathan the son of Akbar, Gemariah the son of Shaphan, Tizidkiyahu the son of Hananiah, and all the other officials. Micaiah told them all the words he had heard when Baruch read the scroll in the people's hearing. Whereupon all the officials sent Yehudi the son of Entaniu, the son of Shelemiyahu, son of Cushi, to Baruch to say, take in your hand the scroll from which you read in the hearing of the people, and come. So Baruch, the son of Neriah, took the scroll in his hand and went to them. They said to him, sit down, please, and read it to us. Baruch read it to them. After they had heard all the words, they turned in fear to each other and said to Baruch, we will certainly tell the king about all these words. Then they asked Baruch, tell us now, how did you write all these words at his dictation? Baruch answered them, he said all these words to me with his mouth, and I wrote them with ink in the scroll. At this, the official said to Baruch, go and hide yourselves, you and Yirmiyahu. Don't let anyone know where you are. After depositing the scroll in the room of Elishama, the secretary, they went in the courtyard and told everything to the king. The king sent Yehudi to bring the scroll, and he took it from the room of Elishama the secretary. Yehudi read it to the king and all the officials standing near the king. The king was sitting in his winter house, and since it was the 9th month, he had fire burning in the stove in front of him. After Yehudi had read 3 or 4 columns from the scroll, he would cut off that portion with a knife and throw it into the fire that was burning in the stove, until the entire scroll had been consumed by the fire in the stove. But even though they heard all these words, neither the king nor any of his servants grew afraid or tore their clothes. Elnathan, Delahu, and Jeremiah had begged the king not to burn the scroll, but he wouldn't listen to them. Then the king ordered Camille, the king's son, Serayahu, the son of Azrael, and Shelemyahu, the son of Avdil, to arrest Baruch, the scribe, and Yirmiyahu, the prophet, but Adonai hid them. Then the word of Adonai came to Yirmiyahu after the king had burnt the scroll with the words Baruch had written on at Yirmiyahu's dictation. Take another scroll and write on it all the words that were on the first scroll, which Jehoiakim the king of Judah burnt up. And as far as Jehoiakim, king of Judah, is concerned, you were to say that Adonai says, you burnt the scroll, asking, why did you write in it that the king of Babel will certainly come and destroy this land and leave it without either humans or animals? Therefore, Adonai says this about Jehoiakim, king of Judah. He will have no one to occupy David's throne, and his dead body will be thrown out to lie in the heat by day and in the frost by night. Moreover, I will punish him, his offspring, and his officials for their wickedness, and I will bring on them the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the people of Yehuda, all the disasters I have decreed against them, to which they have paid no attention. Then Yirmiyahu took another scroll and gave it to Baruch the scribe, the son of Neriah. At Yirmiyahu's dictation, he wrote in it all the words of the scroll which Jehoiakim, king of Judah, had burnt up in the fire, and to those he added many similar words.
Jeremiah chapter 37. Zedekiahu, the son of Yehoshiahu, became king, succeeding Coniahu, the son of Jehoiakim, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, had made king over the land of Yehudah. But neither he, his servants, nor the people of the land paid attention to the words of Adonai, which he spoke through the prophet Yirmiyahu. Zedekiahu the king sent Yochal, the son of Shelemiah, and Zephaniah, the son of Messiah, the Kohen, to the prophet Yirmiyahu with the message, please pray to Adonai our God for us. At that time, Yirmiyahu was mixing freely with the people because they had not put him in prison. At the same time, Pharaoh's army marched out of Egypt, and when the Kasdim besieging Jerusalem heard about them, they lifted the siege from Jerusalem. Then this word of Adonai came to the prophet Yirmiyahu. Adonai, the God of Israel, says to tell the king of Yehudah, who sent you to me to consult me, Pharaoh's army has marched out to assist you, but they will return to Egypt, to their own country. The Kasdim will return, attack this city, capture it, and burn it to the ground. Here is what Adonai says. Don't deceive yourselves by thinking that the Kasdim must withdraw from you, because they will not withdraw. Even if you were to strike the entire army of the Kasdim fighting against you, to the degree that only their wounded were left, they would still rise up every man from his tent and burn the city to the ground. Then, at the time when the army of the Kasdim had lifted the siege of Jerusalem out of fear of Pharaoh's army, Yirmiyahu left Jerusalem to go to the territory of Benjamin to receive his share of an inheritance there. He was passing through the crowds and had reached the gate leading toward Benjamin when a guard commander there named Uriah, son of Shelema, the son of Hananiah, seized Yirmiyahu the prophet, shouting, "You're deserting to the Kasdim." Yirmiyahu answered, "That is a lie. I'm not deserting to the Kasdim." But Uriah wouldn't listen to him, so he arrested Yirmiyahu and brought him to the officials. The officials, furious with Yirmiyahu, had him beaten and jailed in the house of Jonathan, the secretary, which had been made over into a prison. The cistern had been made into a dungeon, and Yirmiyahu was put in one of its cells. There he remained for a long time. Then Zedekiah, the king, sent and had him brought, and the king asked him secretly in his palace, "Is there any word from Adonai?" "There is," Yirmiyahu said. "You'll be handed over to the king of Babel." Yirmiyahu asked King Zedekiah, "In what way have I sinned against you or against your officials or against this people that has caused you to put me in prison? Where are your prophets now, the ones who prophesied to you that the king of Babel wouldn't attack you or this land? So now please listen, my lord king, I beg you, approve my request. Don't make me return to the house of Jonathan, the secretary, or I will die there." At that, Zedekiah the king gave the order, at which they committed Yirmiyahu to the guard's quarters and gave him daily a loaf of bread from the baker's street until all the bread in the city had been used up. Thus Yirmiyahu remained in the guard's quarters.